So welcome everybody. And Roland, you might as well take yourself off mute.
There we go. Good morning.
Good morning. So Roland and myself will be presenting this workshop. And Thomas, if you'd like to sort of show your face as well, Thomas is going to present a speech during the course of the workshop. Thomas, you're on mute and you are still not on video. I'll ask him to unmute. Since I'm the host now, I can do all kinds of things. Hey. Thomas is having a problem, but that's okay. We've got a couple of minutes, so.
Now,
There we go.
I found it. Now, the first one, now you hear me, and I try now to open my
video
camera.
Yes. We want to see your handsome face.
Yes. Camera choose. Why it doesn't work?
There you go. There you go.
There you go. Okay, sorry for the issue.
You've still got your tie on from last night. Did you not go to bed?
No, I changed another. I changed the tie. At least the tie I changed.
Right. Okay. Good morning. So,
good morning to everybody.
Just can we have a quick round of introductions here? Denise, do you want to start off and just tell us where you are? And
yes,
I'm in Bodrum, Turkey right now. I'm in the bedroom of my little girl, so I'm in the dark, but I'm listening to you with my earplugs and waiting to learn.
Excellent. Okay, we won't let you talk anymore. Let the little person sleep.
Yeah.
Alexander, morning.
Yeah, I'm from originally from Germany, but I'm a Toastmaster Maastricht, and yeah, logging in from Maastricht.
Okay. And of course, we've got Hassan here as well, who's going to be presenting the workshop later on today. Hassan, are you awake, or you just got your microphone off mute and picture on the screen? Hello, Hassan.
There was an hour of break, so I think he fell asleep in that
It's
time.
quite possible. We'll send him an alarm just now. It's okay. Tarek, good morning. You there? People gone for coffee breaks and things. Elena. Oh, we've got a few people on coffee breaks and things. Okay. Trevor, president of Luton Club.
Yeah. Hold on.
Do you want to tell people where Luton is? I'm not sure these people know.
Right. It's right next to Luton Airport. Don't know if that helps you.
I know where it is, but I'm not sure that everybody else does.
All right. Well, it's about 25 miles north of London on the M1, and it's got a rail link. And our club, Luton Toastmasters, is about 5 minutes walking distance from the railway station, the main railway station, and about 10 minutes from the airport. So we've set up the club there, and we're in the process of expansion at the moment. We have some business that wants us to train their employees in Toastmasters in speaking. And one of my aspirations is to have international people come in by the airport, come into our venue, because it's only about 5 to 10 minutes away. and we have very good railway links to London.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've been a president since this July. So prior to that, I was BPE for North Herts in Hertfordshire.
Oh, right. Okay. So multiple clubs and things then, hey?
Yeah, that went quite well. We had such a interest in doing speaking roles. We went from about 2 or 3 speeches a night up to 4, and we had 2 meetings a week, no, 2 meetings a month. Then we went up to 3 meetings a month, and we had bookings for speeches for 2 to 3 months in advance.
Wow. Probably sounds a bit like our club. Speaking slots are at a premium.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. Welcome, Trevor. Nice of you to join us here. I'm based here in Zurich, for those of you who don't know, and then we've got Michi Yanagira from District 76 also here with us. Good morning, Michi. Are you having problems trying to get on?
Hello.
There we go. Good morning.
Good morning. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon for you.
Yeah, I'm from Japan, and it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so it's very good time for me. And I'm a division director this year, and I will host the club officer training this coming Saturday. So I'd like to share some ideas that you have and in different areas in the world. And I just heard that this meeting was held yesterday afternoon. I have no time to think it over, but I'd like to join and share some ideas with you. Thank you.
Fantastic, and welcome all the way from Japan. Thank you, Michi. I'm pronouncing it right, Michi?
No, Michie.
Michie. Okay, there we go. Right. Okay. I don't have an E in my name is Harry. Right. And then if I missed out on anybody, is there anybody still on this call that I haven't or have not introduced themselves? Okay. Roland, tell us about yourself.
Well, thank you, Harry. Good morning, everybody, or afternoon, or evening, wherever it is. I'm Roland. I'm the immediate past president of Zurich. I will have this little workshop coming up together with Harry on mentoring for you all this morning. And I'm looking forward to hear the experience that Thomas will share with us. Thank you very much.
Do you want to tell us about your Toastmaster career to date, Roland, just as a matter of
Well,
interest?
there's not much to say, so that's why I kept silent about it. But if you insist,
you've got more than enough to say.
If you insist, I started my Toastmaster journey in Los Angeles in 2012. I stayed with that club for about 3 years, taking different roles, etc., etc. When I moved back to Switzerland, I was first hesitant, but then decided that it was a very good experience. So I joined Zurich. I think it was in 18. Have taken several roles since then, was president last year, and well, enjoy the multicultural, multi-ethical club that we have, and certainly enjoy the input by everybody each time we have a chance to meet. Thank you.
Thanks, Roland. Thomas, what about you? Quick introduction.
Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. My name is Thomas. I'm from the Zurich Club in Zurich, based in Zurich. I also have the honor to be their treasurer. And I'm looking forward to this workshop and give my experience regarding mentorship.
You've got all kinds of maps on the walls behind you, Thomas.
Yes, that's actually my private office, or if I have guests, they can stay here. And as I'm interested in history and geographic and traveling, so I have put a lot of current maps and historical maps around the wall.
Have you drawn lines of them, of the places you've been to?
Also, yes, I stick little
Pins.
dot pins. Yes, I have one.
Welcome, everybody. Right. Let's kick off with our workshop. I need to do a screenshot apparently to make sure that we know that everybody's here, because hang on, how do I do this one? It's supposed to be quite easy. Technology is always easy until you want to do something, isn't it?
That is very true.
Right, we'll come back to that in a second. Can I ask you all of you, just to drop your names and club in the chat, and I'll pick it up from there. Okay. So, you don't have, if you can do that for me now, please, that'll be great. There we go. Thank you very much. Right. So let's kick off our workshop. And our workshop this morning is all about mentoring at in club. And I'd like to start off by just talking about the difference between coaching and mentoring, because we often get the three roles confused. And I mentioned the word coaching twice, and I'll start there because we all know about life skills coaching. And life skills coaching has a very specific purpose. That purpose is to help people to achieve something. It can be anything. It could be change in a relationship. It could be change at job. It could be all kinds of things. And that is known as life skills coaching. So bear that in mind as we go forward. We've also got the kind of coaching that an athlete undergoes. An athlete is coached to run a certain speed in order to be able to get past that winning post first. In Toastmasters, we can coach somebody to speak at a speaking contest or for an event or whatever. And then there's mentoring. And that's the one that we'll be talking about. And mentoring involves a certain amount of coaching along the way, but it isn't coaching in the sense that there's a defined role or a defined relationship between you and the other person in the sense of a coach and the coachee. It's a more of an informal relationship. And it's a kind of relationship where you are there to support and listen and give feedback and be there whenever the person needs support and things. So having said that, I'd love to hear your views on coaching versus mentoring just later on. First, I'm going to ask Roland to kick off and give us his views on what mentoring is all about. Roland.
Well, thank you very much, Harry, and for passing over. And this may be not so much what my personal view on mentoring is, but I would like to introduce you to the role of the mentor and the mentee by diving very briefly into where mentoring is coming from, and then also giving you an idea of what the different, let's say, these are not obligations. These are really the kind of attitudes and actions that the mentor and mentee should do to make it a successful match. Very briefly, where is mentoring coming from? It is going back to the Greek saga of the Odyssey. We know Ulysses had a son called Telemachus, and he needed, let's say, supervision to a certain degree and help growing up to become a valuable part of the community. And this mentor that Ulysses chose was actually mentor, that was his name, and that's why we use the word mentoring still today. In the context of Toastmaster, mentoring is the process by which a more experienced club member shares his or her skills and experience to help a new member to adapt to a new culture and to make progress with the pathways and helping build the new mentees network within the club. All of this should, of course, be to a supportable degree aligned with the mentees' personal goals. And that is probably the most important part of mentoring, is really to make it an individual and not just a formal process that the two parties run through. As Harry said, mentoring is sharing. Mentoring is not instructing. And that relationship is really to be differentiated from coaching. It is an eye-level process between more experienced and less experienced individuals. And it's not only applicable to new members. Mentoring can be, and does very often exist between very experienced members. For example, if I'm confronted with a new role or a new project that I'm not familiar with, I will, of course, go and seek a mentor for that particular thing. So have experienced members come to me asking for mentorship in certain aspects of their either roles as an officer or within the project. Today, however, we talk about the formal process of mentoring for new and unexperienced club members, which is obviously the most common mentoring relationship that exists. Now, I just very briefly want to go through, we come back to that, the traits of a good mentor. And this is not saying to exclude people that might not yet be quite there, but that is to actually make everybody aware that there are certain prerequisites that are needed to actually successfully fulfill the role of a mentor. Excuse me. Successful mentors should be experienced, and with the practice and education in the Toastmaster curriculum. They should have knowledge and be supportive of the Toastmaster culture as it is lived in practice with the club and within the club that the new member has joined. They should be balanced. They should be informed. Not very good if the mentor doesn't really know what's going on. And of course, there's an attitude issue that is also involved. They should be supportive and positive. Towards the mentor, a respectful and caring attitude definitely helps, because showing interest and respect for the mentees' unique experiences, because these are often experienced people in other areas and background, builds the necessary positive rapport. And there is definitely commitment and dependability needed, because if there are agreements for meeting, if there are agreements and commitments from the side of the mentor, not very helpful. If they're not kept, that will not give the mentee the necessary trust that is needed to actually make progress in his journey. Now, having talked about some of the traits that are needed from a mentor point of view, I just want to mention a few regarding the mentees. Not every new member actually is wanting a mentor. And for example, in our club, Harry has this wonderful role of being vice president of mentorship. People can actually, they have to be active. They have to ask for a mentor. Once they do so, then Harry will match them up with an appropriate mentor. It is a matching issue, and Harry will later come back to that. It is not a process where a new member can come in and say, oh, I would like this and this person as my mentor. For one, otherwise we would have maybe some people ending up with lots of mentorships. But there's the other thing. It needs an experienced Toastmaster to make a decision. Who could be a good fit for the new mentee coming in? But all that said, new member that seeks guidance and support from a mentor does so normally to reach her or his goals. There's always something to learn, and that's the most important part, that the mentee is actually curious, interested to learn. Successful mentees exhibit skills and attitudes very similar to mentors, of course, and they should show a certain kind of adaptability, a desire and willingness to learn, a desire to meet goals, a willingness to consider new ideas, an openness, and certainly a certain accountability. There are many processes, there's a benefit to the process, but let's go into that by actually going and diving into the mentorship workshop ahead of you. All in all, I have myself mentored quite a few people. I think it's a very rewarding process to the mentor and the mentee. It's not a one-way street. Each time I have learned from a new mentee many things, and I have been able to progress in my own journey thanks to that. With that, back to you, Harry. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Roland. So I think there's something I'd like to just add on there. You mentioned that we wait for the member to ask to be assigned a mentor. And the reason why we do that is very simple. We believe that the whole relationship should be mentee driven. It shouldn't be driven by the mentor, because if the mentor is driving it, then you are instructing, you're telling the person, you're saying you do this, you do that, etc., sort of thing. And that's not what mentoring should be all about. It should be about the mentee coming forward and wanting to achieve something, and you are simply there in the background helping them to support it. Roland, I think you talked about that before as well, that importance of it being driven by the mentee. You want to expand on that?
Yes, there are two aspects which I'd like to add to what Harry said, what I mentioned before. If it's not driven by the mentee, it's becoming a kind of school-like attitude that in any event you should, or whoever is considering to take on a mentor role, should avoid. It is an eye-level relationship, as I said. It's you need to accept the mentee as she or he is, but that means the mentee needs to take the initiative, needs to have the will, needs to have the desire to actually seek mentorship. That's really the heart of it all.
Thanks. So, normally in our workshop, what we do is we have breakout sessions. I think I'm going to have to modify that this morning slightly. But before we get into what would have been the breakout sessions, Thomas has been a Toastmaster for about 2 years, Thomas?
Yes, 2.5 years now.
2.5 years. And Thomas has a project in his path, which is the one that's all about mentoring. Tell us about the project very briefly, Thomas.
Yes, well, I have chosen the path presentation path, and there is also one with this mentorship speech, which I'm presenting today.
Okay, and what is it? What is a mentor? Why is a mentoring speech there in your path?
Good question. I didn't
Okay.
question it. That it is. I just find out that I have a mentorship speech in my path.
Well,
My
I think
path.
one of the reasons is in there. You're supposed to be, after you've completed this, then you would be eligible to become a mentor within a club. So ideally, you should do this project before you can become a mentor. But we also know that there's, for practical reasons, very often we use people when they have sufficient experience within the club as mentors, so not necessarily having completed this task as well. And so far it's worked. So just that as a matter of interest, the project is there and you're supposed to have completed this particular project before you get assigned mentorship and before you take on the role of a mentor. But for practical reasons, that doesn't always work. We need people sooner than that very often. And when people have been there for a year, they've done a few speeches, especially a person like Thomas, who's on the committee. We use Thomas to be a mentor as well. And so in retrospect, he's going to do his speech and become an official mentor after this.
Indeed, looking forward.
So, Thomas, in order to, you will probably want to signal when you've
For the
reached
timing, yeah,
5 minutes and
first
things.
I have also one time, but if you have an official one, yes, that would be.
There's nothing official about this, Thomas. I will put on the timer. Give me half a second. I've got a little timer here, and make sure that I've got the right thing in here. It's a speech, 5 to 7 minutes. You'll see can you see my screen?
Yes.
I will hold this up when it goes green, and then you see it progressing and things. So when you're ready, Thomas, you may kick off, and we'll take notes so that we can do a proper evaluation of your speech afterwards.
Thank you very much. Keep calm, carry on, and stick to the plan. As you know, a mentor is an experienced person who provides guidance and support to empower the protege to gain their aim. There's always interest to learn from a supportive person with a different background. And to achieve their goal, it's much higher with a mentor than without one. If I reflect my life, I was lucky to have several persons that mentored or inspired me. I've picked 3, of whom one might surprise you. The first one was my boss on my very first working place. I was already working several years in this trading company in Zurich when I changed the department to become the deputy of the CEO of our Asian Pacific affiliates. Under his guidance, I worked 8 years. His name was Marco. He was 8 years older and a reliable manager with a sharp intellect. Our office based in Zurich was small, 3 employees only, with the responsible for 8 offices with 150 staff in Far East and Australia. Step by step, he introduced me of the daily work. I could participate in important meetings, could observe how he negotiated with our partners. Later, he did let me do the meetings without him. Also, I guided visits with our Asian employees, watch manufacturers of our partners in the French-speaking part of Switzerland. Those visits gained me deep knowledge of the Swiss luxury watch industry. My second mentor was Mr. Turler, owner of the jewelry and watch boutique at Paradeplatz in Zurich, downtown. Mr. Turler, fourth generation of this family-owned company, age 60 plus, owned also 4 boutiques at Zurich Airport. I applied the position of boutique manager of one of them. This boutique had 2 employees, which provide me first leadership experience. Just before I signed the contract, Mr. Tuller told me he found somebody else and offered me the position as general manager for all 4 boutiques with 32 staff. Phew. Keep calm and carry on and stick to the plan. Together we had weekly meetings. Mr. Turler provided his 40 years working experience with me and supported me. I gained more and more self-confidence to lead employees, handle difficult situations, and build a strong and successful sales team. The third one might surprise you. It is the late Prince of Wales, today Charles III, King of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. As you might know, I'm quite Anglophile since I stayed 3 months in Cambridge, age of 19. Of course, the king is less a mentor than more an inspiration of his lifestyle and attitude toward life. Beside the fact that every year he has been elected as best dressed gentleman of the UK, he started as a young man of 30 years, the Prince's Trust, who helps young people to gain self-confidence, find a job, or launch a business. Also his passion for protecting the environment in a time where the mainstream didn't care or even made fun of it impressed me. Nevertheless, he stuck to the plan, and nowadays protecting the environment is common sense. The king's long-time view and sticking to the plan inspired me. One example, after my commercial apprenticeship, I started studying economics to get a diploma in business economics. After my first year, the first exam I failed. I was devastated. Few days later, keep calm and carry on and stick to the plan. I applied to repeat the first year and I got my final diploma. I needed 4 years instead of 3, but I stick to the plan. You see, it doesn't matter if you have one mentor or several. What is important if you have a mentor, that you always be open, achieve goals, overcome challenges, and set new goals. Therefore, keep calm, carry on, and stick to the plan. Thank you. I can't hear you. Okay, I hear you now.
Now
Eric.
you can hear me. Sorry about that. I forgot that I'd muted myself. I don't normally do that, but I had to because I was trying to pour a coffee and I didn't want to interfere with Thomas's speech by making rattling noises in the background. Well done, Thomas. Thank you very much. Trevor,
Yeah.
any comments from your side about his speech? Personal experiences?
Um. Oh. In what terms?
Just, have you had a mentor in the past, as Thomas described?
Oh,
Was it King Charles, by the way, like Thomas's?
no.
Coming from Luton?
I've had occasionally individual ones for a small period of time. It varied.
And Mitchie?
Nietzsche. Oh. Not there.
Yes, I enjoyed his speech very much. Thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
All right. So what we normally do at this point, Thomas, thank you very much. Thank you for telling us about your various mentors and things and how they helped you progress within your organization. I'm normally at this stage of the day, what we do, or this stage of the workshop, what we do is we have a breakout session. But since we don't have the people here to have breakout sessions and things, it's going to be pretty much ridiculous sort of thing to have Trevor and Mitchie sitting in one room and the rest of us wait for them to come back. So what I'm going to do is let's do it slightly different. I'm going to ask two of you to volunteer to be the interactive part, and the rest of us will then watch. And afterwards, we can discuss what happened in this interaction between two people, which, as I said, normally this would be an interactive part of the workshop. And when we've had these first two people complete, we'll change, and then maybe we'll try another two. And then let's discuss what happens in this process between a mentor and a mentee. So maybe I should clarify also that the interactive workshop, what we do is in the breakout session, people sit and two people then pair up. And for instance, let's say it's Thomas and Roland. One of them will be the mentor and the other one will be the mentee. And the whole idea is that you discuss with the mentee what their goals are. You help the mentee come up with goals that are achievable and a certain amount of timescales involved in it. Although these timescales within Toastmasters, we're not restrictive on the timescales, but it's useful for the person to have some idea of maybe in 6 months' time, I want to have completed my icebreaker. In 2 years' time, I want to have completed level 2, that kind of thing, sort of thing. So there's a plan there. It doesn't have to be set in stone. We're in Toastmasters, we don't force people to do things. We let them work at their own pace. So it's very important sort of thing that we make that distinction. We don't, it's not, again, here comes the difference with coaching. Within coaching, you would have very definitive sort of timelines and say, right, by such and such a date, I will have done this and this and that. As a mentor and mentee, and as a mentee in terms of setting your goals, it's far more flexible. So let's move into a discussion. Who's going to be our first, shall we say, volunteers?
I can be a mentee.
Sorry?
I can be a mentee.
Thanks, Denise. Are you allowed to speak now? I see the little person's awake.
Yeah, because she's awake, yeah.
Oh, shame. Okay. That'll be fantastic.
Yeah.
Denise is division director in Turkey, and they're organizing our Division 109 conference this year. I don't know if you want to say a very quick word about it.
Yes, of course. Can't wait to see all of you in Istanbul in May 12 to 14. And also just before the conference, we will have some exciting activities like museums and city tours and so on. So if you can have arrive a few days earlier, you would enjoy what Istanbul offers on both continents with bridges between continents.
I was very fortunate. I spent an evening in Istanbul earlier this year, and I was impressed with the wonderful little restaurants and things, especially in the old historic part of the city. Right. Who's going to be our mentor then? Alexander, what about you? Would you like to take a stab at it? So
I can try, yeah.
okay. So very important. I think this relationship, and again, I'll come back to this whole thing. Your role as the mentor is to try and get the mentee to set goals. So you talk to them, you ask them questions, help them define those goals and things. So let's start, and we'll do this for the next, I think 7 minutes is normally enough. We normally allow about 10 minutes, but 7 minutes because we are in an interactive environment here. Alexander, you are the mentor. I'll let you start talking to Denise, who is your mentee.
Hi, Denise. So last year I did a mentorship, and one useful exercise to start was writing 10 goals down. So maybe what would, just to hone in on Toastmaster, what would be 2 goals you have for your Toastmaster journey this year?
The main thing I want is to have more members active. Like, I really want to activate as many members as possible during the Toastmaster experience. I want from all clubs as many members as possible to actively not only doing the speeches that they want to fulfill in their pathways, but also active in the Toastmasters community, trying to help with the, I don't know, summits we have, COTs we have, contests we have. So I want more people to see more names active about their own clubs. This is the one goal. And the second goal is actually I want to have the Turkish translations of the pathways first level at least officially done. And for that, we need to have a translations team. And I want many people from different clubs to volunteer to be in that team, actually, because if there's more people, there will be less job per person. And actually, we have been using Turkish the last more than 10 years now. So we have everything nearly unofficially, like, which I mean, among the members, we translated many things, but it's not on the Toastmasters website. But now there is this possibility to submit and to have it officially up there in the website. So why don't we just do it more formally, not write it down according to their procedures and everything and submit so that we have it there. So I thought of my goals a lot. So those are my thoughts, but I need some mentoring to make it happen somehow.
It sounds like it sounds like a busy year for you. The ambitious goals. How on the first goal, how would you measure activity, or how do you measure if you have success, or how
if I could have different names from different clubs in these kind of joint teams, which is not only related to one club, but like, for example, if we have more names in COTs delivering parts of the training from different clubs, if we have more area contestants and different names from the same year, every year the same names, but more people from, also if we have club contests, like normally, because there isn't too many willing people, the clubs even don't do a contest because they know the two names that they can send. So if if we can have more active members, then we would need, for example, the clubs to have contests so that they can send their people to the areas, and then everybody would be more activated.
Okay. And what do you see at the moment as the biggest impediments that people are not more active? Well, have you identified that?
I don't know the reason. Like I'm trying to achieve these goals through my area directors. So I'm trying not to put my feet in their shoes also. So I'm like trying to motivate the area directors, to motivate the presidents, to motivate their own officers and their own members in the end. And at somewhere I'm feeling like there's a somebody becomes a bottleneck. Maybe they are busy, so they don't convey the message or so. So somehow it doesn't work. I mean, as good as it could be. So I don't know what I can do better.
Okay. Do you have any possibilities to maybe inquire that they maybe have interviews one level down to just randomly make stickproofs, just pick people at random to have a short talk why they haven't chosen, or on the other hand why they have chosen to be active, to have a bit of a balance.
What do you think? Would it be if I contact the people directly myself? Would it be
or have them chosen? But it just I think one of the most important things from what I get from my experience is to really get good information from the ground level to what's really going on. So if you just talk through a filter of your area director, so then you might not hone in on the real root problem of what you're trying to solve. So just as an idea to get a bit more basic information.
But on the other hand, if I really contact the people myself, would it have a problem, or would it create a problem with the activeness or willingness or the motivation of the area directors? That's a concern that I have.
Yeah, I would I don't want to give it, so it's more of a mentoring. What do you think about informing them before you do these things? So to really involve them in the process. Would that help?
Informing the area directors that I want to contact some members or some club officers directly. You mean that?
Yeah, to have them in, not pass them over, but to take them with you on that. Just having this basically project to get the real impediments for your goal. But yeah. I don't want to say it. I don't want to do coaching. I don't know how to do that in a mentoring way. Sorry. But yeah, that would be.
What do you have in mind, Alexander?
It's just I haven't done the specific task, but the problem, the structure of the problem is I think always the same for me as well in my professional experience. You really have to go into the mud. You really have to go to the ground level to really see what the impediments are, and only if you have really the real root causes identified, then you can start to solve them. And on the other hand, the really important thing is what's the activity at the moment, and what is an improvement for you? Is 30% an improvement, or how? You have to be realistic what you can achieve, and also measure, are you moving in the right direction when you have identified these kind of points, and act on them. So, but that is coaching. It's not, I don't think that was mentoring.
Roland, is it wrong?
No, it's not
Alexander has
wrong.
just said, I don't think it is at all. I think that what you're doing is absolutely, in fact, I'm listening to you and I'm sort of thinking, wow, we're having a masterclass here in how mentoring should be conducted. You're constantly asking the right questions and supporting and things. So great job so far. So Roland, comments from your side?
Yes, coming from my side, as I said, I don't think that was wrong at all. I think it was a great example. However, Alexander, you said it yourself. I think we have to be careful that we don't get into the coaching. Now, in the question that was put in front of us, I think your mentoring was exactly the right thing. So helping Denise to, how shall I say, get her hands around the problem, how she formulated it for herself. Very often we tend, and you stopped yourself short several times, and that's why I pointed out, where you say, I don't want to be coaching. I don't want to say the solution myself. I trying to keeping with framing the issue. That's the mentor's job, and especially for experienced Toastmaster. And I think the tendency you showed us was a wonderful example how we need to be careful about that. I think you did very well, and as Harry said, a very good showcase. Thank you.
Yeah, I think the important thing as well as a mentor, you are the experienced member, so there's no harm in occasionally sharing your own experiences, and in terms of if that will help the mentee in them understanding what their goals are and how they can possibly achieve and get there. So, Denise?
Actually, I want to ask some clarification here about something. Like for coaching, as a professional coach in the coaching trainings, and it's always said that for the coaches, you should not give advice, and you should not give
Absolutely,
your
yeah.
point of view, and you should not be telling your own experiences and so on. So in coaching, what I learned is more like asking the questions and deriving the solution from the person and making the person come up with their own solutions. And mentoring is more like sharing your advice and your experience, and what you tried and what worked and what you saw others try and work so far and so on. But here there's a little confusion in my mind, because when Alexander was nearly coming to tell some advice, he was stopping himself and saying, I don't want to get into coaching. But then it's contradicts with what I know about coaching is not giving advice, but asking questions. And mentoring is because the mentor has been there, done that. So he should be able to shed some light on the advice part as well. So I'm confused a bit.
Yes, and I think you're right. Absolutely. That's what I was saying just now as well, that as a mentor, you are the experienced member as a mentor, and there's no harm in sharing your own experiences if it will help the mentee be able to reach their goals. So you're absolutely 100% right. Coaching, I think Roland's, I'm a qualified coach, so is Roland. Denise, I think you're as well for that matter. So we understand that in coaching, you are not supposed to be putting words in the mouth of that coachee. But in mentoring, it's a slightly different relationship. And there is no harm that if you say, well, at a certain stage, I did this and this and that. You don't have to say, do it like this. You can share your experience and then let the mentee make up their mind if this is a way for them to go. It doesn't mean they have to follow it. You're not telling them, you're not instructing them. And that's the important part. We shouldn't be instructing our mentees. We should let them set their own goals. And those goals should come, they could be because you've shared your experience, or they could be because you've gone into more of a discussion and helped them sort of understand their goals and things. So Alexander, I don't think it would have been wrong for you to provide more assistance there in terms of what you were about to say, but then stopped yourself thinking that you were going to go into a coaching sort of environment. Roland, Alexander, comments?
Well, first of all, I do understand Denise from the point of view that she says, well, why would it be wrong to share? And I totally agree. First of all, there is not a wrong or right as such. Mentorship is a supportive function. Coaching is an analytical function. So And of course, to support, sometimes we first have to analyze and so on. So there are two things that in a way do overlap. However, I do believe Alexander was right to actually not necessarily stop himself short of providing an answer or providing advice, but to not wanting to fall into the trap of coaching Denise through the whole process. I think that from my point of view was a good action. I don't think we need to get too sophisticated about it, because the normal situation of a mentor is, I know something, I have experienced something, I have access to a network, therefore I open it up to my protege. That's basically the inner function of the whole thing.
Okay. Mitchie, are you still with us? Mitchie?
She wrote in the chat that her internet is playing games with her. She wrote something like that. Yeah, my internet is acting up, she wrote.
Okay. Thanks for drawing my attention to that. In that case, Thomas,
Yes.
can I take 10 minutes of your time? Yes, I'm going to take 10 minutes of your time. I know you have to leave at about 7:10. So
Mhm.
how about you and Trevor pair up here for the next 10 minutes? Trevor,
Yes.
would you like to be the mentor?
Okay.
Good.
Well, right. All right. Okay, ready? You ready, Thomas?
Yes, I'm ready. I
Okay.
can.
So where are you at the moment, Thomas, in your speaking voyage?
Well, I'm just ending my second path. In
Level.
2 weeks, I will second level. In 2 weeks, I will have my last speech, and then I have fulfilled my second level.
And what will you have achieved in completing this task?
Well, first of all, I achieved to gain more self-confidence to speak public speaking, also to find ideas to share other people. I thought always, okay, well, icebreaker in terms of sense is easier because you talk about your life a little bit, what you're about. And then I was always thinking, well, which other subject I have to share to our members? Do I have some interest points of view? And I found out, yes, actually, it's not so difficult to find a theme for a speech.
Yes. And where do you I'll gather this is the first part of your journey into public speaking, and what's your end goal, would you say, or goals along the way that you want to achieve?
Well, my end of all will be to go further to the next level and become more relaxed in talking in front of people. And give proper speeches, and also to have the time to reflect the speech. Yes, actually, this is my goal, to go further on, to take the next step, to set new goals.
Oh, good. And for which pathway are you on at the moment then?
Presentation.
Oh, right. Okay. presentation. And is that because you do a lot of presentations? Or?
Well, I was thinking about, yes, in the past, as I was responsible in sales in the airport, in front of my staff, yes, indeed. With my new job, less, but still my boss told me I had to do a presentation by next week. So it's starting again. And that's why 2 years or a little bit more than 2 years, I thought, okay, that might be a good path for me to start with this.
All right. And have they noticed any improvement or change in your presentation?
Yes. I would say also, as I choose English speaking club, that I try to speak slower, the pronunciation to make a point. And yes, I became more self-confident.
Yes. Yes. Well, you're I've understood every word you've said, so that's a bonus. And I do think that you're on your way. I think that your level 3 will you improve on where you are at the moment. I think do you have a mentor at the moment?
No, actually, I'm a mentor.
Oh,
yes, but it's just recently chosen.
Oh, right. You just become a mentor.
Yeah, I became a mentor. Yes, that's right.
All right. Well.
He just had his icebreaker yesterday.
Oh, you have?
He had just the mentee.
Right. So right.
Icebreaker yesterday.
Yes. But have you considered on a mentor for yourself?
Well, if I reflect, I was in the past when I was general manager, of course, for my staff. Yes, without reflecting, I was a mentor. Yes, knowing or a person who I hope inspired my staff. Yes, that's right. And yeah, since I joined Toastmaster and is a part of a role that if somebody's asking me and as the responsible person who is giving mentorship, like Harry in my case, they ask Harry, my mentee, and they agreed. Yes, even I'm not yet official mentor, but with this speech,
that official part.
Yes, that's right. Okay. So yeah, actually, it's the second one. The first one was last year, which I experienced where we had some connection, but less because more than half a year he didn't join the club because he started studying. But yesterday I met him again. But with the new one, if I've got it, so I'm looking forward to coach moderated him, and well, that's always from both sides. If I'm here to offer my guidance and my experience as soon as he asks about. Yes.
Yeah. Thomas, I think that I'm aware that you've only got a few minutes left, but I think Trevor's question really was: have you got a mentor in the club?
No. Officially not.
Officially not, yeah. And I think, Trevor, this is sort of important, maybe an important little piece of information within our club. There's a certain point at which the official relationship between mentor and mentee is, there's a divorce time, let's put it that way. We say, right, okay, you've done your time sort of thing. You've helped the person through those initial stages. Now they are on their own. They have built up a network within the club. And of course, that every member, every sort of senior member, every experienced member in the club is at any time a mentor to any of the other members. Roland and myself have an ongoing relationship. And for that matter, Thomas, at any point, if you feel you need to talk about something within Toastmasters, there's people like Roland, there's people like myself. You can come and talk to us and things like that. And I think therein lies that part of the way in which we operate our mentoring system within the club. It's not an infinite relationship that's going to carry on for the next whatever number of years you both Toastmasters of. There's a time, it's time boxed basically. And after that, it becomes more of an informal relationship between yourself and the person that you had mentored. But then by that time, you've built up your relationship or your network within the club, and you can really ask anybody to be supporting. Roland?
I totally agree, and this is exactly where mentoring should kind of lead to. Establishing the new member, giving your mentee the legs up, giving the confidence. I think, Thomas, you said it very clearly, your own experience through Toastmaster was gaining confidence, and that's exactly what you can help building your mentee as you go along with them on their journey. But I also do believe that this, as a formal relationship, it should come to an end. I think in our club we have 4 or 5 first projects that we are taking care of together with the mentee, and then we let them fly. They always can come back. It's a relationship that is established. It's not going away. And I think it is very important also for mentees to find their own footing and hopefully become mentors very soon thereafter. That's really what the process is all about.
Just an own sort of experience. One of the people that I was mentored to over the past year, person who really flies and worked hard and he's a good self-starter and things, but there's still little pieces within his speech. Now, this sort of goes into the sort of area of coaching to some extent. And we spoke a little while ago that there's certain things he does in his speeches that detract from how great his speeches can be. And I suggest to him what we should be doing is doing, in this instance, a coaching session and present the speech. I give him feedback right there, sort of thing, live feedback. No, don't do it that way. Try it this way, sort of thing. So although the formal relationship between myself and this person has come to an end quite a while ago, there's still this ongoing relationship. So the relationship between mentor and mentee doesn't really end. It just moves into a different phase in a certain respect and things. So Thomas, again, back to Trevor's sort of question. You've got the whole club potentially as your mentors. All you need to reach out is ask.
Yes, absolutely, which I do. I don't feel alone. Absolutely not.
Absolutely.
I
know you need to go. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I have to go. Yes, now.
So thank you very much, Thomas. Thank you very much for sharing. Thank you for the speech, and enjoy your day at work.
Thank you very much. I thank you for having me, and I enjoyed very much this workshop, and I wish you a enjoyable further workshop. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Mm-hmm.
Right, let's move on. So we've had 2 sessions, Alexander and Dennis and Trevor and Thomas so far. What did we experience in these sessions? This is an incredibly important part of our workshop normally, is to ask people to share what they experienced. Dennis.
I was experiencing a good focus, like attention. Yeah, let's say that. Attention on me and on my thoughts, and that attention made me focus better myself also, which was the good part. I was really expecting to hear some advice, like I was from the mentor. I was thinking, oh, it's someone that's had those kind of experiences now I have, that experience is available to me. So I was looking forward for learning more actual experiences that is related, that I can derive from it, what I can use. And I enjoyed the time. Thank you very much, Alexander.
Alexander, you're on mute at the moment. You obviously have had a great deal of experience. You seem to have a great deal of experience as a mentor. How did you experience the whole sort of interaction between self and Dennis?
I have no real mentoring experience. That's why I was hesitant a bit how to structure my mentoring in this way. So because for me, one of the goals was to just more to lead to the solution and not to be more passively helpful. But I get from this workshop that I probably should share more examples to give a bit of a blueprint how I did it, and maybe that is helpful for the mentee. I wasn't aware that this is a good way forward.
Again, without sort of instructing and imposing, basically. Hey.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think both Roland and I thought that you had mentoring experience. So if you haven't got mentoring experience, you did a darn good job at how you interacted with Dennis. Good stuff.
Thank you.
Trevor?
Yeah. So I was checking up on what type of what level person I was speaking to was at, what his goals were, and what he wanted to achieve, and it's sometimes difficult to do it on that basis. Sometimes you can't really mentor someone until you've heard them speak or done some speaking in front of an audience. So, I mean, on the basis, what I was gathering from what I was speaking to him about was that he hadn't, although he had mentoring other people, he hadn't got what stuck out. He hadn't got a mentor himself to guide him, and I don't think that really sunk in until was it Harry who mentioned it? So I don't know if hopefully he took that on board, because I was on the point of giving him some advice about what he should be doing, or what he could do, from how we used to run a whole group of mentors, and that we would assign a mentor for a specific a period of time, or for just a section of doing a level or finishing off a level, and then go off to having match up with someone else. But also with mentoring, there's an aspect that you haven't talked about yet, and that is whether you, well, as a mentee and a mentor, mesh together, because sometimes there's a clash between personalities and it doesn't always work. And so that's what I've seen, that aspect when we've had a clash with a mentor and a mentor and a mentee, and we've had to go and find someone else to help them along their way. It happens sometimes, but
yeah, I totally understand that. I had this as vice president mentoring. That's part of my job, is to make sure that these relationships work, sort of thing. So I had one person one of our very experienced members, but this person, they just didn't click, sort of thing. So after about 6 months, they came to me and said, well, doesn't seem to be working. And they were not sort of negative towards the person who was their mentor, but they felt that the relationship wasn't really working. So I've reassigned this person and things, and they're a lot happier. So yes, you're right. It's something that we need to be aware of, that not all relationships work, and we need to be cognizant that if they don't work, then we need to separate people and move on to a different pairing.
Yeah.
But you also, I think what you've just mentioned is very interesting. Excuse me, that you assign people for a certain period of time or
Yeah.
a specific project or something. That's not something that we do in our club, but it's well worth sort of considering that it is a short, again, it comes back to what we said earlier, it's a finite relationship. And in our case, what we do is we do take you through to the fourth speech of level 1. And at that point, we say, right, okay, now you can stand on your own feet, sort of thing. You can come back and you can ask me as a mentor anything you want at any time. But we no longer have a formal relationship where we meet once a week or once a month or whatever the case might be, sort of thing. So I think this is the difference. And what you're saying is that you have a very similar thing in that you have a finite relationship for a specific project and then move on and maybe team up again for another project or whatever.
Yes, because some people have got good skills in specific areas and they can contribute. And if that pathway they're on goes into an area that they're not familiar with, they need to seek guidance from someone else who's done that.
Excellent. Roland?
Yeah, very interesting. And I just would like to add to Trevor, not to really contradict him, but he used that word skill. And to be quite honest, in our club, I started that when I was myself VP of mentorship. I'm very much and very adamant to the point that I say mentorship has nothing to do with skill transition. Very important. A mentor is not a coach. He's not a teacher. He's not an instructor. He's not responsible that people learn to do pathways. He is a more experienced member, first and foremost, there to help the new member to come in and absorb the culture of the club. That's the most important part. And then, of course, new members learn new skills, new ideas, new things. And that's why we say, well, we help them through the first 4 projects in the first part. That's very good. Different to project coaching. Project coaching or project mentoring, if you want, has maybe more to do that somebody has experienced with the project and you want the mentee to profit from that. There I see the skill issue a more important one. But I just wanted to reiterate the skill aspects in the normal mentorship relationship in Toastmasters as we practice it in Zurich is really based on the fact that the experience of the mentor should help the mentee to absorb the culture of the club and therefore make them more interested, more successful, and more engaged members.
Thoughts?
Oh,
I want to add something on the Trevor's experience that we observed. I really liked that he bring the discussion to if the new mentor got a mentor before for himself. I think it's really good experience for mentors to have mentored before. Because if you have mentored at least once, you have an example of how it goes, and then also from the shoes of the mentee, you know how it feels. That's why I think it's a good point to ask if he got a mentor for himself before he became a mentor. I like that.
yes, yes, I did. I had a mentor for some period of time before I started mentoring on helping people.
Yeah, that's why I liked that you mentioned it to him,
Oh, right.
so that if he had a mentor for himself, and
Yeah.
Harry needed to clarify the question, and he said no.
Mhm.
But I think
We all do, really.
that discussion could move into seek for a more experienced mentor
Yeah.
for yourself to get into mentorship in a better way, I think.
Mhm.
Because of course, this mentoring is more for new members, but I think in every level, it's good to have a mentor, like whatever new role we are taking. For this sense, it's being a new mentor. But if we
Yeah.
are becoming I don't know, presidents, then it's always good to have a past president to mentor us for a while. If we are in the district level, it's always good to have someone mentor us who has been there, done that. So I think it's good.
Absolutely. And I think again, come back to what we said earlier, sort of thing. We strongly believe that once you've been through that initial phase, the first few projects within level 1, that you can stand on your own feet. And part of what we want the mentor to do is to help the mentee establish a network within the club, so that when they then move on to project number 5 or project number 6, they're no longer reliant on the mentor that initially helped them, but they can basically go to any member in the club, says, look, I'm about to do this project, or I'm about to become vice president of this, or I'm about to become the sergeant at arms. You've been a sergeant in arms in the past. Can you possibly give me some help and tell me what you did well, where you thought it went well, where you thought it didn't go so well, etc., sort of thing. And then from that, you can learn from the other person and things. So then it becomes informal, an informal sort of mentoring relationship. Roland and myself have that on. It's an ongoing thing. If I need to talk to somebody about something in Toastmasters, I would go and chat to Roland, and we would talk it through and try and come up with a solution and things. So it becomes a more informal relationship, but it is there because that's what Toastmasters is all about. We are there to support each other and help each other progress.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
Alexander.
I agree. Yeah, I think we all need mentors, even if it's just on an informal basis.
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, we always have some sort of questions, don't we? And we always go and ask somebody or bounce ideas off someone.
And that's when you have built up your network within the organization, basically, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So your whole club, in fact, the whole sort of club eventually becomes your mentor pool.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Alexander.
Yeah, I have a question for Roland. How do the first 3 months look like in your process in your club? Because you said you have a process, or you have how does the mentorship look like in a very concrete? Or what are key points?
Well, thank you for the question. And I just give you my, let's say, experience with my last mentee, so you get a really feel into that. As we mentioned, the new member needs to be active and ask for a mentor. That demand goes to Harry. Harry will look around, and Harry will, just to make that very clear too, and I think Trevor point very well taken that you say sometimes characters, personalities just don't match. So that's basically the role of the VP mentorship, to be a bit of a filter here. He still can, he's not perfect, but he looks at both sides and then will approach possible mentors for that particular mentee, and then an agreement is found. And here's the thing. The process then starts by the mentee actively pursuing to find an agreement with the mentor to meet, or be that on Zoom, be that in person. I personally always prefer to meet in person. We're all in Zurich. so that shouldn't be a problem. And that's just my method. I have prepared a little questionnaire for the mentee to actually, and ask them kindly, we'll chat, we'll start to know each other a bit. And I then, at the end of this chat, I hand this questionnaire to them, or I send it to them by email and say, please get through this, because I need to learn a little bit about your goals, your ambitions, why did you choose this path? Have you chosen a path, etc., etc. With that information in hand, we'll meet up again. Maybe and there are some mentees, they want to really speed up things. They want to take their first roles. They want to do things very quickly. And, as a mentor, I'm not there to tell them go slow down or anything. I tell them about my experience, why these might be a good idea or not such a good idea, but I will always invite them to come to their own decision. And when you say formal, that's the process. That's the process with their icebreaker. That's the process with their first evaluation. Normally there's a meeting. They talk about what they want. I share my own experience. I share maybe ideas that might help them to prepare. For example, in the icebreaker, one of the most common questions I get, how much do I have to reveal about myself? And I said, well, this is not a question I can answer you, but I can tell you what I did. And I can tell you how I think about it. And then maybe that inspires you to do this, that, and the other. Very often then they ask me, well, would you mind, you're my mentor, you're not my coach, but would you mind to look through the draft of my icebreaker? And I say, of course, I'm happy to. And I will look through, if it is not absolutely necessary, I normally will not comment on the content per se. I will ask questions. How are you going to present it? What do you think will be important? Do you have stage fright? Are you scared to do the presentation? Then we talk about the fear, overcoming fear. We talk about, especially the ladies sometimes have questions how to dress and things like that. So it's actually an empathetic participation in the process rather than a process per se. So that's the classic mentorship, new member mentorship relationship. And of course, this is not necessarily applicable to when Harry comes to me with a question. So being a sounding board, that's another thing. Mentorship is also a sounding board. So it depends on the level. And I totally agree. And I think Trevor was spot on. Asking, do you have a mentor? I think even if it's not a formal relationship, most people are mentored also by inspirational characters, people that do certain things particularly well. And they might sometimes not even want to enter into a formal relationship, but they're still mentored by them because they go and ask questions. And that's what the club is about. So I hope that answers your question and gives you a little bit of an impression of how this works.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Who's next?
Harry.
Yes, I had some background noise and things. I thought I'd better go on mute, so let me take it myself off mute. So what we do in our club is, and I'll share my screen. Let me just get onto the right page here. Share screen. There we go. Desktop and share. And Zurich mentoring program. Can you see my screen here? we've got this whole page, and I think an important part of this whole relationship is what we define as the role of the mentor and the role of the mentee. And one of the first things that we tell people when they become mentor and mentee is that there's a responsibility from both sides. Although it is mentee driven, the mentor should also have availability. So you agree between yourself and that mentee when you will meet, how you will communicate. Do you meet once a month, once a week, maybe for 10 minutes before a meeting every time, maybe for 10 minutes after, whatever sort of thing. You decide what works for you between you and your mentee, or between mentee and mentor, basically. It's up to the mentee to make sure they contact the mentor. So if they have a question to ask, don't wait for the mentor to come and ask you, have you got a question? Go forward. You are there. The mentor is open to you for you to come and ask the questions and things. Explain to the mentee how to sign up an Easy Speak. Okay. And the mentee by the same, and I find this even in people that have been there for maybe 6 months and longer, they very often still battle in doing things on Easy Speak. So just guidance, be there to support, and understand that not everybody is as IT literate as some of us. Emphasis, importance of indicating presence or absence on Easy Speak. Such a nuisance if people don't tell you they're coming to the meeting, and then suddenly you've got a full room, 35 people, there's no more space, and 3 members turn up who didn't sign up on Easy Speak. Just push that down into the mentees' culture, that they should be putting their names down on Easy Speak and making sure we know they're coming in it. Follow through on goals from the mentee side. You help the mentee set realistic, achievable goals on their Toastmasters journey. And then I've added in here, discuss speech evaluations with mentee. Help prioritize and filter feedback. This, to me, is quite an important part. We have a thing within the club where we all fill in a little evaluation form. And this is a habit and a culture that's in many clubs, where everybody fills in a little piece of paper and hand it to the speaker afterwards. And there's all kinds of comments on it. And sometimes there's comments that are completely, utterly sort of out of kilter with everybody else. And from an inexperienced speaker's point of view, they see this and they think, oh, why is this person saying this? And it throws them sort of off track sometimes. And I believe that as a mentor, you should spend a bit of time with your mentee after their speech, especially when they've had the feedback, and look at those and say, right, yes, I think that's relevant. Or, well, maybe the person saw it slightly different today. I wouldn't pay too much attention to that today, and etc. And help them sort of filter through this information and pick out the most relevant aspects of the feedback so that you enable them to move forward, rather than suddenly put a stumbling block in their path. Because feedback can occasionally be a stumbling block as well, especially if you get this completely off-kilter piece of advice that throws you off track and makes you believe you've done something wrong where you haven't really, sort of thing. It's an important part there, I think. Support the mentee to integrate into the club and build their own network. This happens sort of in the background, organically. It doesn't happen necessarily with you saying, oh, so-and-so, you can introduce people, sort of thing. But over a period of time, they will form their own relationships and things and build their own network and things. So it's a very subtle thing. Benefits for the mentor, benefits for the mentee. This page is available. I'll share this URL with you. You're more than welcome to copy what we've done here. And if you can, in future, provide us with some feedback and help us improve this, by all means, feel free to do so. The other thing that I do as VP mentoring is when I assign a mentor and a mentee, Roland sort of briefly mentioned it, that it's not just a case of you and you pair up sort of thing. I will normally approach the mentor first of all and say, would you be prepared to be a mentor for so and so. And I say to them, there's no obligation. If you feel that you're not right for this person, or you feel that you haven't got the time at the moment, let me know and I will find somebody else. And sometimes I have, on 1 or 2 occasions, gone through 2, 3, 4 people even before I've been able to find a mentor that had the time and was willing to work with a specific person and things. That happens occasionally. Most of the times it's a case of, yes, of course, we would be more than happy to sort of be the mentor for this person. So be aware that there is a bit of work involved there. And then once that's happened, I send out a questionnaire to the mentee. Now, let me just find it because we've got this thing. Can't get this bar. There we go. Bar's out of the way. And I sent out this questionnaire and I asked them, what is your name, email, mentor's name, mentor's email, because this needs to be, their responses need to be copied to, and this is all on our website, by the way, not visible publicly as such, but they get sent a link, and then it's copied to the mentor, all their responses, occupation, accomplishments, interests, personal and career goals, communication and leadership goals. What objectives do you hope to accomplish as a member of the club? Does your job or profession require you to speak in front of an audience? So you've got yes or no questions. It's a simple question there, answer. Describe your current skill levels as speaker, current skill levels leader, etc., 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 sort of thing. Why do you decide to join a Toastmasters club? What specific skills do you want to improve? So let me share one response with you. I'm not sharing the name and things, but here's a person said, personal and career goals. I generally struggle with large groups of people, especially when I have to present something and all the attention is directed towards me. My goal is to improve my presentation skills and feel more comfortable with public speaking. This would be beneficial as I want to move into leadership roles. Very important to understand, from a mentor's point of view, it's important to understand where the person's coming from, where do they want to go there, because it's so much easier if you've got an idea of who this person is and what their aspirations are to try and help them set goals and things like that. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. He also said he hopes to be less anxious when speaking in front of an audience, and he wants to be better able to handle unexpected situations where I can't prepare before, i.e. table topics. Why did you decide to join a Toastmasters club? Because I need to drastically improve my communication skills. So good feedback and the kind of information that we need when we get into our relationship with our mentees. Any questions about these forms? Can we share these with you? Would they be useful?
Yes.
Please do. Please do.
Yes.
I shall drop them right here, and I just need to change it. This is for everyone in the meeting, not a private message. And there you go. It's in your chat.
Oh.
I'm not sharing my screen anymore, am I?
Yeah.
Yes, you are.
Okay, there. Right. We have a few minutes left, and then we have to start wrapping up. Ideas going forward. What can you implement in your local club? Are you going to start? I know Roland and I have done this workshop a few times, and clubs that we've been to have successfully introduced a mentoring program in their clubs. They didn't have one before, and the feedback we've had, well, feedback certainly I had a few weeks ago from one of the clubs, is that they've now got a very successful mentoring program within the club, and it's been very well received by the members and things. So we would certainly encourage clubs to implement, and from a division director, it's something that maybe you can feed back to your clubs and things, Denise. Those that haven't got mentoring programs and things.
I was just writing a message to my VPE with the link, so I didn't listen what you were saying, and then I heard my name. So what is the question? I was just typing
It was an
to my
instruction,
VPE.
Denise. No, what I said was that you know, we've had some wonderful feedback from the clubs where we've held these workshops in the past, and some of the clubs have then implemented a mentoring program within their club. And I recently had feedback from one of the clubs that they've now got a very successful mentoring program going within their club, and it's up the level of people within the club and the interaction. So it not only is there an active program of people being mentored, but relationships within the club have also improved as a result of this whole program of things. So which was an interesting side aspect of it. So I suggested that as a division director, it's the kind of thing that you might be able to put in front of your clubs as well, the various clubs in your division, or at least speak to your area governors or area directors. My God, area governors.
I was just writing to my division PQD that in this 24 hours Trainathon, in the morning session was about mentoring, and this resource is shared, and we could be using it to develop our own. Like, let's make use of it. I was just writing that down, so
Excellent.
hopefully it would be used.
Excellent. Trevor, you've got a mentoring program going already?
Yes, with the current one I'm running, it's a kind of a one-man band at the moment. I'd want to involve more people, and yes, I do want to get it off the ground. I've put some improvements in place so that more people are involved and they switch between them. But at the moment, I'm going through the doing a financial assessment of the club, really, because I realised that we're not covering our expenses. So I need to look at that before March comes along. But yes, I think that it'd be very useful, and I'll say thank you for providing this information.
And by all means, reach out if you want more information going forward, and if you want to implement this on a more, shall we say, more formal way within your club.
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Alexander?
Yeah, it was a very good workshop. We don't have a mentorship program yet, I think, in Maastricht, but I will definitely bring it up because I think it will solve some of the challenges we have at the moment. I mean, the good thing with Toastmasters, it's a bunch of very driven individuals, so it's the opposite of what I normally work with. So yeah, I think that's a good thing to implement in Maastricht as well. So, thank you.
Okay. Right. So
thank you very much. This is Graham from Bern Club. We are going to start soon with a mentoring program, and your model looks very nice. At the moment, we just let new members ask people that they think could be helpful, but we haven't formalized it. The formality is an extra load, I think, on a few people, and at the moment our prime need is to bring in new guests as members and make them all happy. But this is certainly the second stage.
yeah, because those guests become new members, and new members are the ones who especially need this whole sort of mentoring thing, to helping them get settled in the club, as Roland said earlier. Things. Graham, welcome, by the way. You joined late. I see also Poteni joined us quite late and etc. But you're more than welcome, and I'm sure that you picked up the gist of what we spoke about in the last sort of half an hour since you've joined. And by all means, reach out, either Roland or myself. More than happy to sort of help. If we can be mentors to your mentoring program, we'd be more than happy to do so.
That's great. Thank you for your help. I've got the forms, and I've got a little bit of a guideline. for our VP education. We won't have a separate role, or maybe I can ask. We decided in committee about 2 months ago that we couldn't afford the manpower for a special role as VP mentoring, but certainly your help will be guidance for the next future.
Yeah, okay. Roland, final words from your side?
Well, I hope it inspired some of the people attending this workshop to really put focus on mentoring. And this is just an experience that I have lived through on both sides of the Atlantic. That is, mentoring has really, as Alexander very, very correctly and sharply observed, mentoring helps to address some of the fundamental issues of most Toastmaster clubs. And that is the interest and engagement of new members. And that is actually bringing in new Toastmasters that will bring in new members. So this is the machine that makes it work. And I think mentoring is a fantastic way to build a network. It's a fantastic way to have these informal relationships kind of formalized without putting too much pressure on it. Therefore, I really recommend to any club that has any issues in whatever area to carefully look at the mentorship program. It is a very helpful instrument. Thank you.
Final thoughts from you, Denise?
Now there's more noise here, so sorry for that. I really like that session. Also that it was kind of experiential, that we tried out things and then we commented on the things. It was a good style. And I think this is an important subject that we need to always highlight with the Toastmasters officers, because if we use it more, it will benefit the organization more. So thank you very much for adding it in the program.
Okay.